And U.S. Secretary of State, meanwhile, has said that Israel has accepted the latest bridging proposal on a Gaza ceasefire deal, urging Hamas to do the same. However, Hamas has criticized the claim, accusing Washington of favoring Israel. Blinken said the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has assured him of support for a U.S. proposal to bridge gaps on a Gaza ceasefire. His comments came after a 2.5-hour-long meeting with Netanyahu.
In a very constructive meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu today, he confirmed to me that Israel accepts the bridging proposal, that he supports it. It's now incumbent on Hamas to do the same.
Blinken reiterated that the United States was fully prepared to defend Israel in case of any aggression by Iran or Hezbollah.
In recent weeks, given the heightened tensions, we have deployed additional assets to the region. The purpose of the deployment of these assets is not to provoke aggression, but rather to deter it, to make sure that it doesn't happen. But also to make clear that if it does, we are fully prepared to defend Israel.
Blinken also said that Netanyahu promised to send an Israeli team to new talks scheduled this week in Cairo. He added that Israel also agreed to support efforts to vaccinate Gazans for polio after its first reported case of the disease in 25 years.
And we're working with the Israeli government on that, and I believe that we'll be able to move forward with a plan to do that in the coming weeks. It is urgent, it is vital.
Netanyahu said that he sought to free a maximum number of hostages in the first stage of a ceasefire deal.
I would like to emphasize the efforts to release a maximum number of living hostages already in the first stage of the deal.
Blinken, on his 9th trip to the region since the war began, also met Israeli President Isaac Herzog and Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. Blinken will now travel to Egypt and then Qatar to push for the truce. In Israel, families of hostages continued their protests urging a deal. Talks in Qatar seeking a ceasefire and hostage return agreement last week paused without a breakthrough. They are expected to resume this week based on the U.S. proposal. Hamas, who did not take part in the Doha talks directly, criticized Blinken's claims, saying it raises many ambiguities. It said that the proposal was not what was presented to us, nor what we agreed on. Now, this comes as Hamas took responsibility for a blast in Tel Aviv on Sunday and announced a resumption of suicide bombing inside Israel after many years. Meanwhile, Gaza health authorities claim that Israeli military strikes killed at least 30 Palestinians across the Gaza Strip on Monday. The Israeli military said its air force struck a number of Hezbollah weapons storage facilities in Lebanon's eastern Bekaa Valley. Lebanese state media reported that at least 3 Israeli airstrikes hit towns in Baalbek district. Lebanon's health ministry said that 8 people were injured, including 6 Lebanese citizens and 2 Syrian children. And for more on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani has sent us this report from New York. Listen to this.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken announced that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has accepted a, quote, U.S. bridging proposal for a Gaza ceasefire deal, and now they are awaiting Hamas's agreement. Meanwhile, a polio vaccination campaign seems to be going ahead in the Gaza Strip, proceeding despite the ongoing conflict there. Anthony Blinken met with Prime Minister Netanyahu and Defense Secretary Yoav Gallant to finalize this ceasefire hostage release deal. However, analysts are skeptical, although cautiously optimistic, expressing that the recent violence like explosion near a Tel Aviv synagogue, Israeli advances in Gaza, and exchange of fire between Israel and Hezbollah may hamper these negotiations. A humanitarian pause is seriously being urged for that polio vaccination campaign to go ahead amid fears of a wider regional conflict. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.
For latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.